Byron, you're just back from Ferguson. What was the scene like?
Well, when I first got there on Thursday, things were pretty quiet, but it quickly escalated into a very chaotic scene where reporters were really faced a number of threats in trying to cover this, from the protesters themselves, from the police who were trying to keep them away from certain areas. The police were not the best at sort of communicating things, and just from the perspective of dealing with both the police and the situation, it was very difficult to get the story given the curfew and the state of emergency.
How much access did you have?
The last night I was there, which was Saturday night and into Sunday morning, we were cordoned off in a very small area at the very end of a 1-mile protest zone. And our vision and our insight into the scene was limited based on that vantage point.
Even though there weren't direct threats at you, did you feel in danger yourself?
I didn't feel in danger so long as I sort of stayed away from the kind of epicenters of the looting. Reporters were not allowed to sort of approach the sites of looting. They were often confronted by people wearing face masks and carrying Molotov cocktails who said, "Get out of here, don't film." The threats were never explicit towards me, but approaching those epicenters, you definitely did start to feel a lot of intimidation. You did start to feel a lot of danger. You did start to feel the situation would escalate, and so it was best to sort of step back and record from a distance.
What didn't come across in your stories or on television?
Well, I think that there are sort of two classes of protesters here. There are the folks that are coming out during the day and holding vigils for this young man that was shot, and they're demanding sort of real change from the police. They're demanding changes in the government. They're demanding new sort of policies about the way that police deal with young men, especially young black men. On the other hand, there's also a group of people that definitely just want to cause trouble, and the people that are showing up at night and looting and rioting are not necessarily the same people that are in the street during the day chanting "Justice for Mike Brown."
Now, when you're talking about people capitalizing on the situation, how about politicians?
Sure. You know, there's obviously an alderman in St. Louis, Antonio French, who's been a major part of this story. He's been there since the beginning, and he's even called for, you know, other leaders to step up and fill the void.
Did this experience change your perspective as a reporter in any way?
You know, I don't think it changed my perspective. It was definitely, you know, a difficult situation to cover. It's a fascinating story with a lot of moving parts. You know, and at the center of it, there's a tragedy about a young man, and there's all these peripheral stories around it. The way the media is being treated, the way the demonstrations are sort of being co-opted by outside groups, and the way that the political system responds to this are all really interesting and fascinating angles on this story.